San Diego, California, but then I moved to Northern California to study, and I started sculpting, really sculpting in undergraduate when I was going to UC Santa Cruz. And I dove into it at that point, and then studied in Italy for a while, spent a year there, and then came back to California, worked for a little while, and then went to graduate school in Northern California also. When I was really young, I was about 3, my older cousin was an artist, and he drew, and I was totally fascinated by his drawings. And so as I grew up, I aspired to be like him and tried to develop that sort of talent. So I started out by drawing and painting, and I used to lose myself into these fantasy worlds, drawing and painting for hours. And then once I became older, I knew I would always want to sculpt, but I hadn't quite found the right materials to make what I wanted to make. So when I was about 19 or 20, I started sculpting in wax, and the wax allowed me to make the things with the type of tension that I had aspired to make. There are a lot of things I think about when I'm making my work. Most of my original inspiration is from nature. And one of the things that I try to do is, in an ever-changing society like today, where things are here today, gone tomorrow, there's kind of this fast food nation, I look to try and tie the viewer back into the original roots of where we all come from, something that's a little bit from the natural world. And so working here in New York City, one of the great things about being able to, most of my work exists in the country or out of nature, but kind of putting it here in a city environment, in a more urban environment, I'm hoping to draw the viewer back to nature, even though we live in an urban environment. Well, I came here about 4 years ago, and I had always wanted to live in New York. I wanted to be close to what was going on in the art world, to be able to get inspired from all different types of artists from all over. And I've stayed on. I take trips. I do artist residencies in more natural areas because that's where I draw most of my inspiration. But I bring it back to the city environment to try and link people back in. My work also, I deal with things on multiple levels, and so I use nature as a symbol and a metaphor for experiences that we have as humans. And I choose a visual medium in order to do that because it passes through language barriers. And so one of the great things about New York is that you have people from all over the world and all different types of languages that are spoken here. And it doesn't matter what language somebody speaks. If they see something in a visual medium, you're able to communicate to them. Well, I investigate also the reclamation of nature. Like, even though we build things and we create things, there's a certain amount of decay that happens over time, and it's from natural elements, like either the weather or plants growing, or nature will come back and it'll infiltrate in areas and penetrate the surface of what we build and make. I'm going to different towns across the US, and I find a dilapidated building in that town, or structure, or shed, something that's starting to fall apart but that was built back in the 1800s, and I'll take photographs from all sides of it and then build a wax version of it, a smaller version of that piece, and then I'll cast it in bronze and catch it in its current state. So where it is in decay and dilapidation, that's the place that I catch it. And in that way, I use the bronze to try and preserve the image of what the building is at this time and in this town. And so I use that little building as a symbol of the town. And so each one's named after a different town in the US. And my most recent one, I've done one in Vermont and then one in Jersey City. So I'm going to try and find one for New York. I've been looking at a few different dilapidated buildings and stuff. So I'm going to choose one shortly and do one for New York City. Well, I have worked in bronze for quite a few years, and these days I feel like a lot of artists stray away from bronze because it has such a heavy traditional tie to the past art and a heavy weight to it because a lot of statues were done with it. I try to use it in a non-traditional way. When I'm working with the more natural elements, I try to find a lightness within the bronze and try to use space also as part of the sculpture, the empty space as being part of the sculpture. And then lately I've been trying to incorporate light and color into my work, which with bronze, since it's a dense medium, it's a little more difficult to incorporate lightness to it. So I'll cast very thin the bronze, like I made these birds' nests, they're all cast very thin. But inside the bird's nest, there's these bird eggs. And the eggs are double cast in resin, and the embryos have color and have like veins kind of running through them. If you hold them up to the light, you can see the embryo inside, and then the clear resin cast around that. So it's embedded inside. And so I want to incorporate light, color, and the bronze also. So I'm looking to do that, and branching out using other materials is working well. You know, some people see my work and they think that they think the bird's nest is made out of wood, or they think the little houses are made out of wood too, because I use a lot of texture in it. But they generally find that it is bronze. Even though I try to make the bronze look as much like whatever I'm emulating, I try to make the bronze look like that. For the last couple of years I've been working in film, and I've been either working as an art director or a set decorator on the sets. And it's been an amazing experience because as a sculptor, it's a very insular type of work. I work alone in my studio for hours, and then when we actually pour bronze, or there's a big process involved, it's collaborative, and then a team of us artists will get together and actually do the pour, and that's great. But one of the things I found working so many years on my own with my own sculpture is that I was creating something for a visual medium, but I was lacking that other human contact. So when I started working in film, it was an art and it was a visual medium, but it's a collaboration between a lot of creative ideas and people and forces. All these forces come together for a common goal to make a film. And so that was very exciting for me to be able to learn and exchange ideas and innovations with other people. And so I found a collaborative art in the filmmaking. I'm headed back to California for a couple months to cast bronze, and I've been working on new ideas and new installations. I've been looking, I think the film experience has influenced me in a way that I'm thinking of exhibiting in terms of a space and taking the objects that I make and creating an environment within a space. So I have several different ideas that I'm working on right now, and I'm looking forward to next year. I may have an exhibition in a museum, and I'll have a chance to show the work in kind of an installation-based type of environment. I think it's a great idea. I love the idea of contaminating New York City with art and artists. I mean, it is contaminated, but bringing it out, I think, is really exciting. And so I in my own work look to contaminate it by littering it with bronze replicas of nature, and so I have that thought process also, and so I think that it's very exciting contaminating New York City. I think New York loves it. Thank you guys.